Okay, so what are we going to do today? I want to do another little appetiser that you can pop onto a barbecue just before your friends or your family come round. And this is an all-time favourite. It really is. It's the good old-fashioned baked brie. A lot of people only do this in the winter and at Christmas, but stick this on a barbecue, bake it in the oven, and it will be such a great starter appetiser for everybody to pick at and pull at and have a good try. So very easy to put together, and I'm going to show you how to do it now. It really is easy. First of all, you get a cob loaf. Any type of round loaf will do. You can get a sourdough, this is a wholemeal seeded loaf, you can get all sorts of loaves. And then literally just slice the top off it, which I've already done, just to save a bit of time. So there we go, that's the inside of the loaf. Then all we need to do is put that brie into the centre of that loaf. So I'm just going to pop that in there and just give it a little tiny cut round with a sharp knife, because all we need to do is to take that out there, and then we can sink that brie in there and just take that piece of bread out of the centre there. As you can see, very simple. You don't need any major culinary skills here. That pops into the middle, just like that. And then all you need to do is very finely just take the skin off that brie. Okay, just take the skin off, because what you want is when it's cooked, you don't want that skin there. You want to be able to go straight into that cheesiness. Look at that, straight in there. So I just need to take a little bit more off there. Just a little bit more of that skin off there. So you've got that actual brie sitting there ready to go, all melty. Then what next? Well, we're going to go for something a little bit different. We're going to put some cherry tomatoes in that bread round it. So we're just going to go again, just a little square, and then just insert a cherry tomato in there. And that's all we need to do, is just go round that loaf, just push those tomatoes into that bread. And what they should do as well, when they bake, they should start to squirt and sort of break down. And again, it just gives it something a little extra when you're sort of picking it and tearing it apart. There we go. Doesn't take long to do this. Very simple, very easy. And you can do all sorts of things. You don't necessarily need to put tomatoes in there. You could put some nice stuffed olives in there. That would be quite pleasant. So pop that in there. There's your tomatoes. And then what I like to do is take a little bit of rosemary and tuck some rosemary in there as well with those tomatoes. Look at that, absolutely lovely. You can almost smell, well, I can smell it. Can you smell it, Mrs. T?
Oh, I can smell it, don't you worry.
You can smell it. A little bit of rosemary in there with those. Okay. And then, slight little mixture. I've got some virgin olive oil here. Just a little bit of garlic in there to give it some flavour. And then just go over that bread and brush the top of those tomatoes. And that rosemary.
It's a bit like a cross between a brie thingy bobby and a focaccia type thing.
Yeah, I suppose it is. We're doing focaccia in another video, so that's another good appetiser to look at. But just take that little bit of garlic and olive oil, pop that, so you've got that on that bread and that rosemary, okay, and then just put a little bit of rosemary on the top there, but make sure you don't get the stalk in it, just some of those leaves, because when that starts to melt, that's going to be wonderful. Pop that onto a pan. That's going to go into the barbecue, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of bread here, and I'm just going to give that a slight battering of olive oil and garlic as well, like that. Pop that in there. use all that up. And what we're going to do, just going to turn that over and just cut that into pieces, because at the same time we can sort of toast that as well. And of course you can use that to dip into that bread as well. Just lay that around the sides. Like that. And there you go. All we need to do now is to pop that onto the barbecue, cook it in the barbecue, bring the lid down, cook it in an oven, let all that brie go all runny and gooey, and then serve that up as a really nice appetiser. What we'll do is we'll go to the Cadac now and we'll just fire it up and get that ready. So here we are at the Cadac entertainer. We're going to use that as an oven and bake that brie in there. That gives us the temperature control on the top. We've got a couple of mats there which protects the grill and stops that from getting dirty, although it shouldn't get too dirty on this. And I'm going to use these again in position like this on the grill, and then put that pan on top, and that just raises that up just a little bit off this grill. Finished?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Just a little bit enough so you don't get that burn, but you can use that oven space. So what we're going to do, we're going to fire it up, bring the lid down, set it as an oven and get it hot. So we're going to use these two middle ones again. So one on, that's on, that went on. So two middle ones on, that will get nice and hot.
You putting your things on?
No, I'll put those on later on.
All right.
Lid on. When this gets up between 180 and 200, we'll come back to you again, and then we'll put the baked brie in there and we'll get the process cooking. Back again in a few minutes. Okay, so that's been about 8 minutes. Temperature here, as you can see, is coming up to 200, so that's just right. So we're going to open the lid. Don't forget, when you open this lid, it's like an oven, so the heat will come out. We're going to pop these 4 pots in there upside down, and then put this tray on the top, close the lid, and then after 15 minutes we'll come back. It needs about 15-20 minutes, and hopefully this baked brie will be perfect in that bread with those tomatoes and that garlic and that oil and rosemary. Look at that. Everybody does this at Christmas, but it's not just for Christmas. Use it in the summer as well. Use it as an appetizer for your barbecues and your parties. You can't go wrong, can you?
You can't.
No. Right, so open the lid. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, you can feel that heat. Let's just place those 4 on there, just so they give us a little bit of height off that heat. Take that baking tray, pop that in there like that, and we're going to leave that now on lockdown in there for about 15 minutes, keeping an eye on this temperature gauge just here. Keeping it, oh, that's a bit warm, between 180 200. Need to try and keep it there at 200. If we have a problem with that temperature going up too high, we can actually adjust it by using these 2 knobs here and actually control it, and then we'll come back to you in 15 minutes and have a look to see how it's going. Okay, so 15 minutes in, temperature's sitting there nicely between sort of 180, 200. Let's have a quick look inside just to see what's going on. Lid up. Look at that. That is absolutely, you can see how that bread is starting to toast. You can see how that how that cheese is sort of starting to bubble up there and start to melt. Look at that. That's lovely. I would say another 5 or 6 minutes. You've got, that is all really, really nice and toasty. So another 5 or 6 minutes and that will be ready for us to take out. So back to you soon. Okay, moment of truth. Here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is our baked brie. Look at that.
Looks lovely.
You can just see there how that cheese is, it's just starting to dribble over the sides. Let's just bring that out. Now, if you've got a family and friends coming around for a barbecue and you pop that onto a plate somewhere or onto a table and say dig in, you know, that is absolutely fabulous. It really is. This should not just be kept for the Christmases and everything else. You know, use these for, as I said, for family barbecues, friends coming round. You know, it really is a good social food. So what do we do now? Let's take a piece of these, and I think it's still going to be quite that's going to be ouchie hot. It should be. I tell you what.
Do you want to get a fork?
No, I tell you what. We'll give. Let's wait just 2 minutes. Put it on pause for 2 minutes, and come back when it's a bit cooler, and we can show you what it's like.
All right. Okay.
Okay, I can pick it up now, so that's really good. So let's just try this. The whole idea is you take these pieces of bread. Now, obviously, as it cools down, you can break this bread up as well. But look at that. You just take that and dip that.
Just you be careful if you put it in your mouth.
In that brie.
Oh, that looks lovely.
And oh,
Don't burn your mouth. Is it nice?
oh, that is
Oh.
that's amazing. That's cheesy. It's sort of toasty. It's rosemary. It's a little bit garlicky. It screams Mediterranean. Screams I'm going to have a good time.
Does it scream, shall I get the wine out?
Screams let's have another drink. Absolutely. So look, there it is. I hope it's given you another idea of what you can do at a barbecue. You know, it's not just for burgers and steaks and sausages. You can do something on here and serve it up right at the beginning of the day. Just that little appetiser to welcome everybody in. If you found that quite useful and given you another idea for a barbecue, please give us a thumbs up. And don't forget, subscribe. Hit that red button.
Whichever one you want.
See what I did there?
Yeah, that's
hit
right,
that red button. The more you subscribe, the more of these little things we can bring you and show you and really sort of introduce you to how to make your barbecue a little bit more interesting. That's it from us. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and catch you all again later. Bye for now.